Hey everybody, it's me, Bob, and welcome to another episode of Naked Lunch. With us today, we're in for a special treat. We've got the illustrious, he's already getting naked, Butch. And we're going to talk about all things Butch here for the next few minutes. How you doing, my friend?
I'm doing great, sir. How are you?
If I was any better, I'd be triplets. Before we go any further, I do want to let you know that the show is called Naked Lunch, but there's no nudity, which I know is what attracted you to this in the first place, because we're going to talk about some of your onstage exhibitionism. Is that the good word? Exhibitionist tendencies?
Yes, it is. And now that I know this is not about being naked, I'm out of here.
Oh, okay. Hey, nice seeing you. Love the hat. Say hi to the wife and kids, and we'll catch you on tour with the Brady Bunch Variety Hour. Is that who you're playing with these days?
Yep, it was a lifelong dream that finally came true, and just so I could hang out with Alice, that was all that I was hoping for.
Right?
Right, but then my side gig is with Lucinda Williams. Yeah.
Well, we don't want to talk about her. We want to talk about. And by the way, what was her boyfriend? Sam the plumber. I'll bet he was doing plenty of pipe laying. We can't talk about that here. Also, there's no lunch today, so I hope you've eaten, because naked lunch, no nudity, no lunch. I know.
This has been presented all in not up front to me, but okay, let's go. Let's get this through.
My people called your people, and they never returned their calls, so that proved to me that you are truly in showbiz. So, the elephant in the room, the COVID, how have you dealt? You're a performer, you entertain, you're on stage, you make music, and now you're, quarantined. How have you been dealing with that?
February 9th, 2020, I got off a plane and from a tour just off of a cruise, as a matter of fact, off our Norwegian cruise line. And the day before we got off the cruise, the word from China had come down, and as we were getting off the boat, they were preparing to mask and not let anybody touch it. And it was pretty wild. We didn't understand what was happening in February. I came home, and I have had my day job, touring, stopped. Haven't done it since.
Wow. Yeah, it came from out of left field, We could go into the reasons why, we weren't told and all that kind of stuff. Well, maybe We'll talk about that later. But for people like yourself, I'm here in Vegas, and I've done some showbiz here myself. All my friends, musician friends, are dying. They're not out doing their Vegas has a ton of big productions. This is their full-time gig, on and on and on. And just like you, we're just getting opened up. So my next question then, you play obviously with Lucinda Williams. Are there any talks in the works or plans in the works for getting back out on the road?
Yes. We've got a tour that is, I have people contacting me, fans and family and friends, saying, I just bought tickets.
Wow.
Starting July 19th, a West Coast swing with Jason Isbell, starting in Vancouver, Seattle, Portland, San Francisco, Santa Barbara, LA, San Diego. So July 17, 18, 19, whatever it is, something like that. It's going in, and I'm seeing and hearing from friends now that are starting rehearsals for things. I see Jason Mraz, my buddy plays with Jason. They're doing some shows starting end of April. So, I mean, they've got to. I know they're figuring it out. It'll be, the paradigm will be smaller shows, 40% capacity. And multiple shows now, as opposed to the way the design of touring was, every day, one day, new city each day. Now it'll be 3 or 4 shows for us in each city, which I'm kind of looking forward to.
So the travel is easier on you, because let's be honest, the older we get, now that you're in your 40s, you slow down a little bit, right?
Yes, 40s. Thank you. Yes, yes.
Remember, I'm older than you, so I'm really trying to downplay my own age there.
How much, buddy? But, when you finally hit 72, you just got to accept it. That's how that is.
And the beauty is I'm getting those AARP things in the mail, and I get 10% off at Denny's, and it's not even my birthday. I mean, what's not to love, right?
Yeah, I've seen your posts. It's very sad.
It's tragic. Hey, speaking of tragic, maybe this is personal, but what kind of parent names their kid Butch? I mean, you can change it. Once you turn 18, I think you can change your. So how did that happen? What went on with that?
It was a fatal accident in the operating room. No, it was it was the band that shot me into kind of professional thing in the mid '90s. The EELS, DreamWorks Records bass player. We were in rehearsal one day, and he said, "You look more like a Butch than a Jonathan," which, of course, as you know, is my given Christian name.
There you go.
And the leader of the EELS, said, "Oh yeah, you're Butch," and that was it.
That was it.
That was it. So that I've been Butch ever since, and in many ways, that definitely is me, and it changed my life. So there you go.
You know what? And that's a great story because if you think about it, you've got Sting, Cher, Bono, Madonna, Bob. Okay, maybe not Bob. Yeah. Butch.
No, Bob. Yeah, no. And that was the discussion when Butch came into being. We just all associated with all those people you just mentioned. So thank you. Yeah.
No, true. And that's one of the reasons. There's two reasons why you went on to wealth and success and fame and all that in showbiz, and I ended up selling real estate and doing vlogs for free on YouTube, because my name, Bob Sluys, just on the marquee, it doesn't roll off the tongue. It just doesn't have that panache or whatever. But Butch, man, that's exciting, and you get to wear a hat that goes with it, and it's the complete package, folks. And we're going to talk about your complete package here in just a few minutes. But, oh yeah, it'll be a short conversation.
I thought we weren't doing the naked part.
No, well, that's just the visual. We can still talk about it.
Oh, okay, good.
Because stimuli happens between the ears. I don't know if you know that or not. At least for me these days, Wow. How about you?
Not over in the Butch house, but okay.
So you and the Mrs. Butch still, you get a little frisky now and then? Dude.
After 39 years, yes, we definitely are. Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Well, yeah. she's a beautiful woman. I can understand that part on your half, but anyway. So.
Yes. Well, there are disguises involved that I have to come up with, and
oh yeah, role play. I get
accents. It. Yeah. But she still gets through it.
Tolerance, my friend, is a key. So the mask thing. So not only do you utilize the masks during your personal downtime, but we've been wearing them now for the last year. And have you been complying with all that, or are you one of those guys that, damn it, I'm not gonna, especially in California? How's that been going for you?
No, at the Butch compound here, we have fully complied, and we are thumbs up with whatever we're supposed to do. That's what we follow. I saw you got your shot.
Yep.
Did you get one and done, or did you get the two? Are you getting a 2-shotter?
No, I got the Pfizer 2, and my last one was just over the weekend, so I'm good to go.
I'm getting the Johnson & Johnson on Friday.
Oh.
And Lynn will go a week or two later. Yeah, no, we've very socially distanced. We've been very careful. I've been tested a couple times for gigs. I had to get the COVID test for some sessions in town.
Wow, really?
Which I was totally fine with. Made sense to me.
Yeah.
But the main thing is being a drummer. There have been more sessions. The main thing being as drummers, no one comes near 30 feet within a drummer anyway. So I am.
Well, there's other reasons for that, but anyway, please continue.
Yeah, but yes, there are many other reasons for that. But I'm already socially distanced, and when I go into these studios, I go into my tracking room, and everybody's cleared out, and I set up the kit. I leave, they come in, they mic it, and there's, an engineer and maybe a producer, and then they go behind the glass, and I come back in, and I'm never near anybody.
I heard that back in the day, guys like Jeff Porcaro and Simon Phillips, these kind of guys, they would actually have people that would set up their kits for them. But that, to each his own,
Yeah,
roadies, dude.
That world went away starting probably late 90s, early 2000s. Yeah, that's just
So,
like the Retainers.
right, yeah.
That
So,
you know.
so the business has changed tremendously, and I want to talk a little bit about back in the heyday. Watching you guys, I've obviously, due to your kindness, I got to see your show several times, and I became a huge fan of the music, because the truth is, as far as craftsmanship of pop songs, it was Beatlesque, and the simpler and the better. It was just incredible because musicians, we always like you end up with Bohemian Rhapsody on every song, and
Right.
But you guys weren't like that, and that was part of the appeal. And then, of course, the characters that you played, the personalities, the constant evolving from one trip to another. In the next album, you never knew what you were going to get,
Right.
And that kept it. I mean, that must have been a highlight of your career, just the touring, the shows, all that kind of stuff. Tell us a little bit about that.
It was a great creative time, and we were still involved. We got signed in end of 94, 95, first band signed to DreamWorks, and there was still MTV, and DreamWorks, Spielberg, Geffen, and Katzenberg, they were betting on this new record company, and they rolled out the carpet for us. We were very lucky and blessed to be there at the time we were, and so they shot us onto MTV with our first video, Nova Came for the Soul, which they spared no expense for. It was about $750,000.
Wow.
Which today that video would be made for maybe $10,000 or $15,000 max. You could do that.
Yeah. Wow.
And they got Mark Romanek to direct it, who had just directed the Michael Jackson, Janet Jackson space video, and many famous videos at the time, because that was the business to be in. And then we did 2-3 more albums, a couple more videos. Wim Wenders did a video. He was a huge fan. And then around 2001, videos, the budget stopped. The world just started changing. MTV was gone the way it used to be.
Yeah.
And so it was an amazing time. The touring, the recording, the videos, and it was a different world.
It's interesting. Earlier this morning, I spent a few minutes on your website, and just to look at some of the people that you've played with. Obviously, Lucinda Williams, Rufus Wainwright, Tracy Chapman during a big time for her Amy Mann. And I'm looking at all these, and then I noticed this glaring omission. I didn't see my name anywhere. Is that an oversight, or what happened there?
Did we work together?
Dude, we did one. I think we did one gig.
No, I did it. I come on.
No.
You should pull it up right now. That video we did up in Canyon Country at the for Joy at that place where they shot the Patrick Swayze movie.
Okay, but that wasn't okay. Now, yeah, I forgot all about that. Here's the gig that I remember doing. There was this gal. Something Grace or Grace, a fantastic singer, and it was Matt
Gray.
Yeah, that's right, exactly. And it was at Brennan's Pub down in where they had the turtle races down in Marina Del Rey.
Yes.
And it was you and Matt and Kelly and me and her and a friend of yours that I think would either play drums or percussion. Anyway, and
Aaron Plunkett. Yes, the brain is working. Yes.
Oh. Well, we did some. I remember playing Level 42, and blah blah blah, and then we did the Joy original, and I think either you fired me or it was my band, or you quit after I think you showed up at rehearsal and said this sucks and left or something like that, and
I'm sure that's what I did. Yeah.
No, you did. But that's okay because we were still best of friends, and the way I paid you back is right now I recognize you on the same driveway where I used to school you in hoops, and there it is, right there, folks. That my range started right about there, at about 30 feet out and further.
Yes.
And that's. Remember all the basketball games we used to play, the 1-on-1 and all the horse and all that.
Yes, sir. Yes, this must be so enlightening and entertaining for people watching this right now. Yes.
Well, and by the way, a friend of mine named John Payne, he's a lead singer for Asia. One day I was at his house here in Vegas, and he's got a big studio, home studio, and he goes, "Hey, check out a few new songs I'm doing for the new record." And so I sat and listened.
Wow.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. Anyway, but I noticed his production technique. It still sounded like Asia from the 1980s, and since then, it's all this new equipment, So I asked him. I said, and don't take this the wrong way, John. I said, it sounds a lot like you're trying to retain that old classic Asia. Do you ever consider more, new equipment, different vibes? He goes, no. He goes, I make these albums for one person, for me. Anyway, that explains the naked lunch video we're doing right now. Just kidding. I'm just messing with you.
Yeah, but there is some beauty in that, actually. That sentiment of, he's making it for one person, and you know what you're going to get when you listen to that. Just like I know what I get when I'm going to talk to Bob. So there we go.
Right, but think about this. Think about E working with him. I'm sure he was the king of his castle there as far as the songwriting. And Lucinda has a distinctive style, and her audience for all these years, they want to hear that. Yeah, there might be new twists. You might have a new, whatever, repurposed piece of trash that you find and turn into percussion, for which you're famous for. We'll talk about that in a second. But still, it's the essence and the core of who you are that comes out through your performance, isn't it?
Yeah. Your signature, sometimes a moment in time that you captured, and a lot of fans can't leave that. A lot of artists do stray from that, and they might come back, but once you've found a core group, and you found your base, a smart artist services that base.
Yeah, exactly right. I have some thoughts on that, but I want to sort of stay focused on you and your playing. You've got a ton of experience, been doing this your entire. So how do you get the calling? How did Butch know this is what I want to do? At what age, and when did you start banging on stuff?
5 years old.
Really?
Just turned 63. 5 years old. I was banging on suitcases, and already experimenting pots and pans and suitcases, and then February '64. Sitting watching Ed Sullivan. I mean, any drummer my age, that was it. I mean, that was a huge spark. The Beatles, and then the Stones, and listening to AM radio, and I would just bang more and more, and beg my parents to buy me a drum set, and they were just hoping it would pass. When is this going to pass? It never. I mean, I begged and begged, and I had other friends who got drum sets who couldn't play, and they just sat in their garages. And two friends in particular, I broke into their garage in the summer while they were on vacation with the family, so I could play on their drum sets.
No kidding. Wow.
Yeah.
And there was never a moment in your life or career where you thought, like I did in 1990 when I left LA and moved up to Seattle I went and taught college for a while, but where you thought, geez, man, this is, I just can't do this.
I've never, no.
Really?
No, because I can't do anything else. So I realize I'm in it, pound of flesh. I mean, still to this day, I play every day, and it's fun, and I can't not do it.
Wow. See, you're lucky in that way. Whether you believe there was divine inspiration, however it happened. The fact is, you are doing what you're doing. I'm one of those guys that I start working on something and I go, oh, look, a squirrel or whatever that's, I'm just so easily distracted, and I can do a bunch of stuff, but I don't do any of them at a world-class level. Like you have established yourself as a top-notch performer, studio, all the things that you do. So like you just said, you don't know how to do anything else. And there's got to be some joy and peace, some peace in that, as opposed to who am I? What am I? you know, and you never. I'm still looking for that, and you know, I'm older than you. Does that make sense?
No, it makes total sense. I mean, there was a period from, you know, probably 30 up to 45, 30 to 45, where, you know, I was, you know, 1-800 dentist. I was working jobs to support my music habit, and I was playing, you know, with Matt and Kelly, who we talked about. I was playing bars, and how do I get out of playing bars? Because I'll be stuck here my whole life. I want to record. How, you know, there's no school. I went to school and studied percussion, but no one told you how do you get into that.
Yeah.
And thankfully I had Mrs. Butch, who has believed in me. So that has been 90%, 85, 90% of the reason why I'm still here doing this, and had support and encouragement. But I decided, you know, okay, I'll get a day job, and I will only go on auditions and work with people that are doing original music. So I went to, you know, Music Contact Service. You know, remember that? On Sunset
yeah.
Right. And I quit Matt and Kelly, September, the trio, where I was making, you know, decent, you know, 6 nights a week playing bars. It was okay.
Yeah.
But I went on every audition, the craziest of all crazies, until I met this one guy, Tad Wadhams, bass player. He introduced me as Scott Fox, playing original music, and then that led to Lowen and Navarro, and then I quit that and met E, and blah 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 blah.
Wow. So you have to do that. You have to get out there, and you know, I do real estate, and the real estate part of it's easy. It's finding the clientele that's the killer. It's marketing yourself, hustling. It's a hustle, you know, what you do.
Right.
Even at this point of your career, I'm guessing Lucinda's a steady gig, but no gig is forever. I mean, then what? You know, what's the next thing down the road? But you now are established enough where people know who you are. You've got that.
I have that, but it's you know, I'm self-employed, and like you, and I love it, and but you have to keep your stature up. You have to keep your what's the word?
Your sphere,
your visibility,
right?
And you know, I especially with this pandemic, you know, it's been a good thing and a bad thing. I call Lucinda my day job. That's my day gig, and as of next week, it'll be 14 years I've been with her.
Wow, amazing!
Yeah, 2007 I took over, and recording and touring. And when this stopped, you know, we had a new record that came out in April, which we were up for 2 Grammys a couple of weeks ago.
Wow!
This new record, and we didn't. And this was supposed to be. We had everything was scheduled. I had 3 weeks off last year. Is what we were supposed. That's how much touring and recording we had. So it was, of course, the bottom dropped out, but we figured it out, and then I shifted to this whole new creative side that I haven't been able to encourage for a while. And so I started this Creative Ideas from the Butch Bunker side of my life, doing these little vignettes of crazy percussion, which has now turned into another side hustle and some different style of work.
Well, tell us a little bit more about that.
Well, my Butch Bunker here, we call it my studio in Northridge, where you would beat the pants off of me outside with the hoops.
You know.
Inside, musically, it's a room inside a room. It's a studio. It's a drumming musical studio. I don't record. I mean, I do record there, but I don't have a setup of, you know, mixers. It's all percussion and crazy instruments I've built and sounds. And so I just got this Canon HD camera years ago, and I started filming these little improvisations and sound ideas. And I put it up on my YouTube channel, playlist, Creative Ideas from the Butch Bunker, and I've done over probably 700 and some odd videos.
No
now.
Kidding.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then I've you know, put the word out on Facebook and other platforms. Hey, please go to YouTube, check this out. If there's something that sparks your interest, grab it and, you know, make something off of it. So a number of people have utilized the tracks, the the video and mostly the audio to build or compose music from some of those. So that has spawned some more stuff.
Interesting. Now, do you have that set up to actually monetize the videos as far as once you, I think, have 1,000 subscribers or whatever that formula is? Have you done any of that?
Yeah. No, for a couple of weeks, I begged everybody to subscribe, and you know how that goes.
Oh, yeah, I know how that goes. So,
I got like 100. Yeah, I'm not doing this. I'm not doing these for the money. I'm doing it for one person.
There you go.
Right, and then I'm encouraging others, and which has happened. And there've been I've done a few percussion sessions in other countries,
really,
via this. So okay. It all works out.
What do you say, Shakes? To thine own self be true. Was he talking about us or everybody? Right?
Yeah, everybody. Yeah.
Do what you do. Yeah. Be who you are.
Yeah. Yeah, do what you do, and you fuck up, and then you have to apologize, and then you get back.
I don't do that. I don't do that part of it. No, I don't do that part of it.
No, that's true. That's true. You don't, and that's the beauty of Bob Sluys. There you go.
You know, They asked Donald Trump that one. Remember him, the orange guy with the dead animal on his head? I don't know what that was, but he
Oh, I'm sorry. Who?
Exactly. By the way, I'm wearing my sort of like a rock and roll Billy Idol T-shirt. What do you think?
Yeah, it's great for '87.
Come on,
nice.
It's the Union Jack, dude. It's going to make a comeback any day now. I can feel it.
Okay.
They asked Donald Trump, because he became a big time Christian, as you know. He was talking about 2 Corinthians or whatever that was, and holding the Bible upside down in front of the church. I'm sure Jesus was happy about that. But they asked him, do you ever, pray and ask for forgiveness? And his answer was, well, I don't see why I would, right? I mean,
right.
Unbelievable.
No, why would he? He never had to ask for forgiveness. Never, and it just everything. I called him Teflon Don, just because everything seems to wash over him and nothing sticks. I'm hoping these New York attorneys can, with his taxes, I hope they can do something. But I'm just glad he's gone.
Yeah, no, I concur. And what blows my mind, I don't know what your associations or discussions have been with your friends in music / showbiz. It blows my mind because we're sort of known as a liberal kind of very, and I've got 2 sets of music friends that went and got educated. They can read charts. They're musically refined, and they're all liberal. And then I've got my shit-kicking rock and roll friends with all the ink, and they know 3 chords, and they're AC/DC, and every time they pose for a picture, they're doing. And those guys are all hardcore. They're from Texas, and they're all. Does that make sense? Have you experienced the same kind of thing?
I see. I've seen both sides, but the generalization. I would say that you're not far off. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Not to turn this into politics or anything, but a second ago, this you're going to like this transition. Okay. You talked about. I can't remember what it was, but I want to talk about that famous article and spread, no pun intended, you did in that Drummer magazine. Classic Butch, an all-time. I think you demonstrated a working man's rig, meaning your push cart and how you get. And I think you were wearing like Speedos or something and a weightlifting belt. That was classic. Tell the folks about that. What inspired that?
Well, it was an article for Drumhead magazine a number of years ago, and it was an article of help and self-help to drummers, musicians in general, to take some tips from a professional about schlepping and how to schlep gear correctly. And so I took many photos with my Speedos on and my weight belt, because you have to wear a weight belt. As a drummer, you're carrying heavy things all the time. But I was wearing gloves and the cowhide gloves, and and my Superstar shell toes. That was the outfit for the photo shoot, which, of course, my young son was fortunate enough to be able to take those photos of that photo shoot. And me in various positions, showing people how to correctly lift gear, heavy gear, the tools and implements you need to transfer gear safely. So I did that article, but I don't know if you're aware, which got me in a lot of trouble with Lucinda. 2 years ago, I did another photo spread you'll have to look up for Drumhead magazine, and it was an issue in the first issue of Drumhead about snare drums and the love of drums. And I took a picture with my first snare drum, a la Burt Reynolds, completely
like on the bearskin rug, really?
Well, it was on our bed in our bedroom. Again, my oldest son got to take the photo, but it's me cradling the orange snare drum right about where my crotch is, and with nothing else.
Okay, so the first question, the obvious question that comes to mind: are both of your sons still in therapy, or how did that turn out?
We don't have the same last name anymore.
Oh, that's priceless, dude. Only you could pull that off. And again, the segue here, and Naked Lunch is what that really means is Naked Lunch is open, honest transparency. That's what it really is suggesting. Yep. But in your case, we'll make an exception, because didn't you tell me once that you actually performed Au Naturel in front of thousands of adoring fans back in the EELS days, or did I misunderstand that?
Oh, no, you did not misunderstand that.
Oh.
No. It was the end of a tour. It was like our second tour, maybe. We were, the headliner was this woman named Poe, who had a song called Angry Johnny, 1995-96, a big, huge AM hit.
Okay.
And she was all over the radio, so we were the opening act for her. Now, we went out for the 2-month, 2.5-month, 3-month tour, whatever it was. And at the end of the tour, we ended up at Bimbo's 365 Club on Columbus Street in San Francisco. It was the last night of the show. So we come out, the EELS, we do our set. And as used to be tradition, doesn't happen that much anymore, the headliner came out before we went on stage, and they TP'd, toilet papered the whole stage and put sign, we love the EELS, been such a great time. And so we come out and like, oh my God, okay. So it's prank time. So we finish our set, and E comes up to me and he goes, dude, we didn't plan anything. What are we going to do to, show our appreciation and thanks? And I said, we started talking, Tommy, E and I'm like, and I said, I had a flash of an idea. And I said, don't worry, I'll take care of it. I said, just go out during post set during the cello. The cellist has a solo, and I knew this. And Cameron Stone is his name, very famous cello player, and a good buddy. So I get with my tech, and I say, okay, hold the door here. I'm going to get stripped naked, except for my cowboy hat and my Adidas shell toe shoes. And when you hold the curtain, and when the cello player starts the solo, I'm going to come out behind the drummer on his kit and hug him, and then I'll come out. So I told it. The cello player starts. I'm completely naked, and I come up behind the drummer, Dan Marfisi, and I hug him, and he sees me naked, and he loses it, and he jumps off his drum riser. He's freaking out, and then I run down, and now Poe sees me, and she is livid. And I go up to the cellist, and while he's in the middle of the solo, he doesn't know, and I start pretending to hump him. And,
You're kidding me.
He's a pro. So this is all, 20 seconds. This is all happening, and I'm running, and I walk over to Poe, and I'm about to grab her, and she has this water bottle. She's fucking hitting me, saying, "Get out of here!" So I run off the stage. I get dressed very quickly. And the police show up immediately.
Really?
Because, yeah. That's against the law to do that. And so, thankfully, no one. They knew it was me, but nobody fingered me.
Yeah, I get it. Good one.
And that got actually a little write-up in Rolling Stone at the time.
That's an amazing story, and the fact you did it then before cell phones. Otherwise, imagine doing that now, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. No, I would. You would go to jail now.
Well, Jim Morrison got arrested for stuff like that, you know.
Yes. Well, because he was Jim Morrison. They knew who it was, and they could grab him. Yeah.
And the Janet Jackson had a wardrobe malfunction. And I've seen what was her name, Courtney Love. She used to take off her top, and what? I mean, come on, really? You know?
Yeah. No, it's been done many times. Yeah, it's old shtick. Come on.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna probably, for two reasons, not ever gonna do that on stage, at least not intentionally. By the way, when back in the day, I sort of looked like Sting and MacGyver had a love child. Wouldn't you say? Something like, right?
Yeah.
Now I look like Danny DeVito. I haven't had a call for a gig since it's just, that's sort of how the business is, especially here in Vegas.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. But I would push the Danny DeVito thing. Come on. There's some life there.
I like that. I'm going to run with that. So what I'm going to do here, I've had a great time, and I want to thank you. I hope you've enjoyed yourself too, sort of getting caught up a little bit. The COVID, obviously. I think everyone's hoping for things to get back to normal. But is that going to happen? What's the new norm, like the cliche for you? What's that going to be like?
Well, we're not going back to the way it was, which we shouldn't, and that's fine. And some realizations to me. I mean, one, kind of crazy thing is I will never ever fly again without a face mask.
Okay.
That ain't gonna happen.
Okay, good. Yeah.
That makes just the most sense. Why wasn't I doing it before, sitting next to people that were, that their the juices were getting all over me. So I mean it's not going to be the same, and that's okay, because this is where we are, and we got to move forward.
So music-wise, you guys didn't jump on the streaming bandwagon during the break.
Oh yeah.
Oh, you did.
No, Lucinda did right before this. Unfortunate for David, the bass player, and myself, who were in LA, she relocated to Nashville.
Okay.
So she did a number of things with friends of ours in Nashville. She did a bunch of streaming things, but we, the bass player and I, couldn't fly at that time, and they didn't want us there, understandably.
Yeah.
So there were social distance, 4 or 5 different streams she did, which she spun. She did a Lou's Jukebox, is what they called it, and she did a whole series of Stones covers and Bob Dylan covers and a Tom Petty, which are now out on CD and out there in the world.
Really?
Oh yeah.
See, some friends of mine did that here, there's a band called Santa Fe and the Fat City Horns, and top players, just an amazing band, 15 pieces, horn section, just incredible. And they did streaming. Took them about 6 months to figure it out, and spent a ton of money for all the bandwidth and all the stuff you have to do, and the partitions and and it was $10, same as the cover charge at the door to watch it, and wasn't the same, dude.
Right.
It's just not the same.
Not, but the world now, there is going to be a combination of those things, and it was going in this direction, but this has now pushed it in farther into that direction, and I think the new format is people are going to make it something special. Right now, it's just live shows and doing what we used to, but it's going to evolve into something even more.
Yeah, and so is the limitation on that going to be the technical aspect, or is it going to be the lack of? I see stuff on YouTube that just because you own a guitar doesn't mean you can play a guitar. Just because you have lips doesn't mean you're a singer. So the it's been so diluted. So how does the cream remain at the top?
Well, like I said, it'll be a the live thing that is going to spark some new things in this realm, I think, of the virtual. I don't know exactly. I know, but I know there will be some special things. A couple people I know are doing some very interesting, creative, left field things now that they're trying to figure out how can we make this work, and it's going to be it's going to be a great time.
Very cool. Hey, my last question, meaning to ask this a little bit earlier. You did a lot of touring, and in a bus. Typically, that's probably the best way to do it. Do you for the last year you haven't? Do you still enjoy getting on that bus, driving overnight, maybe hanging out, drink some wine, bullshit, on and on and on. That aspect of the camaraderie and or does that lose its luster after some point?
Not for me. I know many guys. The drummer Don Heffington, who I took over for Lucinda in 2007, who unfortunately just passed away last week. He had it. He was over it. I am not over. I'm looking forward to getting back to it. I enjoy it. The tour bus is the best way to go. I hate airports. I hate airplanes when we have to do that. But the tour bus, man, it's great. I sleep like a baby.
Yep.
I love waking up the next day in a new town and going out finding the Starbucks and then doing my routine. Everything about it I love.
And the things you've seen, not only in America. I did a little road trip back in October. I got in my car and just started driving. For 3 weeks, I drove from Vegas to Maine.
Right, I saw that.
Right, and I was camping out in Walmart parking lots, and I spent no money. I had the money, but I did it just sort of like roughing it. Best trip I've ever taken, and I've traveled the world with my various stuff. So the things you've seen that in Europe, especially, so much history and just culturally, and that's just an amazing experience that you had.
Well, it's the history and the culture, but what it is going through these little towns and meeting the people and going out in the afternoon, having lunch in a little place that no one else has ever done. It's amazing how we're all the same, but we're all different, and just how amazing it is to get out of the car or the tour bus and walk around and check some shit out. And you don't have to spend money to do that.
Well, Butch, it's been a real pleasure for you and for myself too. I want you to know that. And
mostly it was for me, but okay.
No, very gracious with your time. I know you're, and I just noticed the big hand is on and the small hand, and it's for you. I don't know about you, but for me, it's nap time. There you go. It's do you do naps, by the way? When did you start doing naps? Because I've been doing them for like 10, 15 years. You don't do naps?
No.
Really?
No. That's when I do my yoga.
Oh, well, that's sort of the same thing, isn't it? Kind of. It's not the same thing? Dude, I can't even touch my toes anymore. Not that I would want to, but well, you're looking good. You're sounding good. I wish you the very best. Let's not be strangers, and we'll talk soon. Everyone, it's Butch. Say goodbye to Butch. Thanks, Butch.